All right, today we're going to tackle something that's on every product leader's mind: how to build a rock-solid AI governance model. And I'm not talking about one that just manages risk, but one that actually helps you innovate faster. Let's dive in. This quote just hits the nail on the head. We've totally shifted gears. AI isn't some add-on feature anymore. It is the engine that's driving all the value. And that changes everything about how we build our products. And that's the big question, right? If you're a product leader out there, you're probably asking yourself, how do I use this incredibly powerful new engine without, driving off a cliff? How do you move fast without breaking things? That's exactly what we're going to break down. To lead in this new AI-first world, you really need a whole new playbook. It's all about striking that perfect balance between pushing for speed and making sure you have the right safety nets in place. But before we can even talk about the solution, we have to get brutally honest about the problem. Let's face it, every single enterprise AI project runs up against three major headwinds that can totally derail everything if you're not careful. Okay, so what are we actually up against? Well, these risks really boil down to three big areas: your data, the model's transparency, and of course, day-to-day operations. First up is data governance. Look, it's pretty simple. Your AI models are only as smart as the data you feed them. If you're using unapproved or worse, just flat-out wrong data, you're not just going to get bad results. You are walking straight into a massive regulatory and security nightmare. It's that serious.
Next, you've got the classic black box problem. This is model transparency risk. Think about it. If your AI makes a really important decision, maybe about someone's finances or their health, you have got to be able to explain how it got there. If you can't, you have no way to justify that decision to your users or, even more importantly, to the regulators.
And finally, there's operational risk. A model that's amazing today might be totally off a month from now. Why? Because the world changes, data changes. They call this model drift, and if you're not keeping an eye on it, it will tank your bottom line and completely shatter the trust your users have in you. So okay, those are the risks. Pretty scary stuff. Now for the good part. How do we actually build a system to deal with all this? The answer is a governance model built on four really solid pillars. This is your roadmap, your blueprint for building with real confidence. These are the four pillars: principles, guardrails, evaluation criteria, and prioritization. Now, the real magic isn't just having these pillars, it's about how they all connect and support each other to create one consistent strategy. So let's break them down one by one. Okay, pillar number one is all about your values. This is your North Star. It's about deciding what your company really stands for. This means committing to things like fairness, making sure your outcomes are equitable, explainability, so things aren't a black box, robustness, so your systems are secure, and of course, privacy by design, baking it in from day one. The second pillar gets really tactical. Think of these as the circuit breakers you build into your development process. We're talking about things like filters that automatically block sensitive info, or using one AI to act as a judge for another AI's output, or, and this is a big one, making a human in the loop absolutely mandatory for any high-stakes decision. These are your non-negotiable safety nets. Pillar 3 is all about measurement. You've heard the saying, right? You can't manage what you don't measure. And that is absolutely true here. You need to be tracking metrics across three different layers: the raw technical health of the model, like its accuracy; the system's efficiency, so things like latency and cost; and then those crucial responsible AI metrics, like how often it refuses to answer harmful questions. And this last pillar is just super practical. It's a simple little 2x2 matrix that helps you answer the constant question, what should we build next? By zeroing in on that top left quadrant, projects with a really high ROI and low ethical risk, your teams can start getting wins on the board, building momentum by delivering value quickly and safely. So we've got our four pillars, but let's be real, a framework that just sits in a Google Doc is pretty much useless, right? The real power comes when you embed this stuff into your daily workflow, turning it from a static policy into something that actually lives and breathes with your team. And here's the key takeaway. Governance isn't a set-it-and-forget-it kind of deal. It has to be a living, evolving system. That means automated dashboards that are monitoring for model drift in real time. It means creating simple health scorecards, so even your executives can see how things are going. It means having playbooks ready to go for when things go wrong. And maybe most importantly, continuous training to keep everyone's AI literacy up to snuff. When you actually bring all of this together, something really powerful starts to happen. Governance stops being this annoying hurdle that everyone complains about. It actually becomes a real strategic advantage.
And that's the big idea here, isn't it? The goal is to completely flip the script on governance. It's not the Department of No anymore. When you do it right, this framework doesn't slow you down. It actually gives you the confidence and the safety rails to move faster and be bolder than your competition.
So look, getting governance right is absolutely crucial, but it's also just one part of a much bigger AI product picture. A truly winning strategy covers that entire landscape, all the way from the basic concepts to managing the full life cycle of your models.
At the end of the day, the question you should be asking isn't if you need governance, it's how you're going to use it to win. If you want to get the full playbook on this stuff and other strategies for building the future of product, you've got to subscribe on LinkedIn. You'll join a whole network of product leaders who are all figuring this stuff out together. We'll see you there.